We are awaiting two big decisions from the Supreme Court, which could come any day now. One on President Obama's health care reform law, specifically the law's individual mandate. The other decision on a challenge to Arizona's immigration law, which would require anyone stopped by police to prove their immigration status, that they are here in this country or in Arizona legally. Joining us now for his take, Fox News senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, you have said for a long time you think this Supreme Court is going to strike down Obamacare. Why?
Well, I have said it because it directly extends the power of the Congress beyond anything contemplated by the Constitution, if the Congress can force you to buy a product. That's been reinforced by the questions that were asked by the justices at the time of oral argument. I mean, we'll know very soon. Either this will be a monumental decision that will restrain the Congress from interfering in the personal lives of individuals, or it will be a dud. And we'll basically say Congress can write any law that it wants, regulate any behavior it wants, tax any event that it wants, and call it a fine or call it a tax, depending upon how it wants. I expect the court to restrain the Congress and to set down guidelines once and for all about just how far Congress can go under the Commerce Clause and how far it can't.
But if Congress can tell a farmer under the Commerce Clause that he can't plant wheat on his farm, can't it tell you to buy broccoli?
You know, that's a very, very interesting question. You are speaking of a case called Wickard against Filburn, a 1942 Supreme Court case. This past weekend, Justice Scalia, inadvertently or intentionally, released to the public the manuscript of his next book. In that manuscript, he says, this is one of the worst cases in history, and it ought to be reversed. Is he telling us something that might happen in the next 10 days?
Interesting.
One doesn't know, but one can only speculate.
Now, what about the Arizona law? The Supreme Court has been taking up that law, which the Arizona legislature passed, saying that Arizona law enforcement officers are required to check the immigration status of people they pull over for violation.
Well, the president has added a very complicated gloss to that by the decision that he announced last Friday when he, on his own, rewrote immigration regulations to say that if you came here before you're 16 and you're under 30 and you're still here and you came because of your parents and you didn't break the law and you went to high school and graduated or you were in the military, a bunch of regulations that he put in there, you can't be deported. So if the Supreme Court upholds the Arizona law, and if Arizona decides to enforce federal law where the federal government is not, which federal law will they enforce? The laws written by the Congress or the laws rewritten by the president? This will become enormously complex. What will the court do? The oral argument, again, the questions by the justices seem to indicate that they were favorable towards that Arizona statute. But again, we'll find out in a couple of days, maybe as soon as Thursday.
We might find out on television because a couple of senators have written a letter to the Supreme Court. Here's how it reads in part. They want cameras in the courtroom for the big health care announcement. Senators Leahy and Grassley write, broadcasting the court's ruling would permit millions of citizens the opportunity to view what so few can from the court's small and limited public gallery. Modern technology makes televising the proceedings simple and unobtrusive. A minimal number of cameras in the courtroom, which could be placed to be barely noticeable to all participants, would provide live coverage of what may be one of the most historic rulings of our time. We believe permitting the nation to watch the proceedings would bolster public confidence in our judicial system and in the decisions of the court. Will they go for it?
No. They didn't go for it during the oral argument of Bush against Gore. They're not going to go for it now. But my hat is off to Senators Leahy and Grassley. They've been pushing for this for a long time. I don't think it's going to happen for a long time.
Judge Andrew Napolitano, always good to get your legal take.
Pleasure, John.
Thank you.